Welcome, Thursday Night Live with your friends from Frantic Romantic. This is Hanging with the Friends. Hey, everybody. As you can see, we have Dan Vado from the legendary San Jose venue, the Art Boutiki, coming on in a few minutes. He's just, gathering his things and, making himself fancy for the show. Ruben, I think, will be joining us, but I'm not sure. So hopefully we'll hear from Ruben soon. But in the meantime, hey guys, we're just hanging with the friends. We just want to take this opportunity to always thank our audience for tuning in, and we definitely encourage you to share this feed on your own Facebook with your friends, because we're thinking the more friends, the better. Am I right, fellas?
Friends are nice.
I think so.
Yeah, friends are nice. For anybody who's new to the show, basically what Hanging with the Friends is we have a music guest on every week, and we chat with this music guest about all kinds of things, but we also open this up to our viewing audience to ask questions to our guest, which we will then pose to our guest, and they will hopefully answer. So
5, 4, 3.
I can hear the playback. So Zeke Zero, Rick O'Connell, not to be mistaken with Rick McConnell, which I accidentally did.
Rick McConnell.
How do you pronounce that? McConnell?
Oh, hey, Zeke made it.
I forgot about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. What's up, Ruben?
What's up, dude?
How you doing, man?
Good, man. Cool.
I tried my best, but I'm not going to lie. My wife, she hooked up everything for me, and I was like, oh, I'm not going to make it. She's like, yes, you are. In the computer. I was like, I made it. So.
Well, thank you to her. We definitely appreciate it. Zeke is our master of questions and comments. And actually, well, Rick has been jumping in there too. So yeah. So I guess team effort, you guys. The rhythm section. Let's just say the rhythm section is the king of the comments.
We could
That's
tag team
right.
that, right?
What's that?
I said we could tag team it, me and Rick.
That's right.
That's the way they like it.
Tag team.
All right. I am talking with Dan Vado on Facebook Messenger right now. Hey, why don't you guys go ahead and chat for a minute? I'm gonna go ahead and sort this out.
What is it? Talk amongst yourselves.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Right. Cool, man. So how was your flight, dude?
It was good. It was a little bit of rush. I had the bass. I ended up buying a hard shell for it.
Oh, you checked it in?
Yeah, which is not bad. It was like $60 for a used one, and it looked pretty
That's
good.
cool.
It wasn't all dinged up. I went to Starving Musicians, bought it, but then I had to wait for it. When I went to the airport, came out like 50 minutes later, and I started to panic. I was like, "Oh man, what happened to it? Did somebody take it, or did it get lost during?"
You see somebody on the tarmac, hella playing it, like playing it wrong, but playing
Probably
it.
were, man. Probably were. Yeah, but it was all good.
Did it come with a lock? Did it come with a key, like a lock and everything?
No key. I mean, it has a lock on it, but there's no key to it.
Oh shoot, my acoustic has. I kept the key, but yeah, that sucks.
Oh, there's Dan.
There he is.
What's up, dude? I was just about to email you.
That's okay. I figured it out.
Sweet, awesome, man. Thanks
Welcome.
for joining us. Cool.
Dan.
I didn't get the glasses memo, so I don't have anything quite as cool as what you guys. Wait, I could put these on, but they make me look even dorkier and older than
That looks
Nah. You look dapper. You look sophisticated, man. It's cool.
dapper.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you say to old men. Anyways, how you guys doing?
I'm doing
Great,
good. How are
great.
you?
Yeah, I'm living the dream, dude. Yeah, just I don't really know what to say. You guys can hear me okay, right?
We
Yeah,
can. We can hear you
great.
crystal clear.
Perfect.
Are you broadcasting from the beer garden?
No, I'm in my backyard.
Cool.
If you wait long enough and you see that gutter in the background, chances are you'll see probably more than 1 or 2 rats. So there you go.
Oh.
It happens, right? It's nature.
That's how you know where the party is.
Hey, they're taking over, and
I'm
least
watching
they're not-
now.
this won't last long enough that the skunks will come out, and so I'm not even sure why I went out into the patio, other than it's nice and cool out here, so that's why I came out here.
I have one of these Arctic cools with like ice cold water in it, so I'm feeling you.
Right on.
Yeah. This leather's not very breathable, you know?
It doesn't look it, no.
But it's what is it? Aesthetics over function. That's what I was always told. Mike
Who
Told you that they were
subscribes to that
wrong.
too.
They were absolutely wrong. You should go back and find that person and explain to them how the world actually works.
So for anybody who doesn't know, this is Dan Vado, one of the coolest dudes I've ever known.
You wouldn't have any evidence of it from tonight, but no. How am I one of the coolest? I'm one of the coolest guys you know. You hang out with a lot of dorks.
Well, I mean, look at us. You know what I mean?
Well, okay, you've taken
It's obvious.
you've taken my three favorite things and you've combined them into one very awesome thing. Music venue, comic book label, and comic shop.
Yes.
And I just want to say, I way back in college, 10 years ago now, and time fucking flies. I was just walking around San Jose, and I was bored, and I was thinking, let's see what's around here, right? And then I just stumbled into this venue, and there was like, folks drawing pictures on the walls, and like, and there was the comic shop, and there was like this, the stage was dressed, it was actually like there was time and effort put into like how everything looked, how everything sounded. And so then, at the time I was kind of on the outs with my, with my current girlfriend at the time. So I'd be going out to venues every weekend just by myself, just you know what I mean? And then it just so happened that I started going to this place pretty much almost every weekend. And then one day in my very timid way, I came up to Dan and said, I have a band.
Yeah, that's not an exaggeration. That's pretty much exactly what you did, except you sounded more like a salesman.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, well, just a little bit. Like a salesman who hadn't really sold anything yet, is what it says. Like, so, I'm kind of wondering, the CD, would you listen to it? Whatever. I thought it was cool. I thought it was cool because other people come in with an attitude like, of course I should be playing on your stage.
Right. Real
people.
rock stars,
Wait, can I curse? Is this curse?
Yeah.
Fuck
those people.
This is curse
shit.
friendly. All right. I'm just checking. Just checking.
Hell yes, curse.
Yeah.
This is
You
late
say
nights.
pee-pee and everything. Right.
Late nights with frantic
We
romance.
can say pee-pee. We could say gosh darn. We could say
Gosh
pee-pee.
darn.
We could say caca.
Whoa.
You just can't say like jive
You
turkey.
don't.
That's it. You don't
Okay.
want to say that.
Let's not say caca. I think that might be lowering the bar a little too low.
Right. It's a little
All
too
right,
low
all
brow.
right.
Too low brow.
But now
right.
you gotta say. I mean, you brought it up. You have to say it now. We're gonna
Hunky
sprinkle
doody?
a little caca here and there.
Sprinkles, caca sprinkles.
Yeah.
I think we just lost like half our audience right now by saying caca
I'm
sprinkles.
trying to
Hashtag
up
caca
the audience a
sprinkles.
little. If I look distracted, it's because I'm posting this on Facebook right now.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, man. I appreciate
We
that.
definitely
Thank you.
appreciate
Actually, speaking of audience, we have not lost anybody. Jeff is here, and Mondo with a huge fuck yeah.
Jeff, Mondo, welcome.
Yeah. And then we
Hey,
got
what's up, guys?
What's up, fellas?
Candace Irizarry. Forgive me if I mispronounced the
Candace.
name.
No, that's right. It was all
Oh,
right.
hey.
I did say it
That's
right?
Yeah,
me.
we go back all the way to kindergarten. That's super
Oh,
cool.
wow.
Wow.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of any. When it comes to like high school friends, I can't really think of very many people that I have kept in contact with. So that's impressive.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
I'm
can,
gonna throw out a
beat
little-
this though.
I'm gonna throw out a little
Okay.
tidbit real quick about Candace. Sorry, I didn't mean to step on you, but she was
No, I'll
telling
go
me
next.
she used to do something else for work. I forget what exactly. I'm a horrible friend because I don't remember. But she came to see, real story, true story. She came to see Frantic Romantic play a show, and now she's pursuing music, like
Oh, that's awesome.
full board, like pursuing music, like
That's cool.
producing, singing, the whole nine. So we'll be hearing Candace Irizarry's name. You know, no one will be mispronouncing that. You know what I mean? She'll be up there in the marquee pretty soon.
Well,
All right, man.
I could, pending COVID, I could recommend the first venue that she should
Right.
play at.
Right.
Bringing it back. I'm bringing it back.
I was going to say that Mike kind of downplayed his history with us a little bit because Mike was actually he
He's an intern, right?
He was an intern and quite a valuable person to have around. And you edited a video when we were trying to do a Kickstarter to move. And
I remember you used the Skyway song for the background music.
You used Skyway View music, yeah.
Right,
so,
right.
But Mike is a person. Mike, if I have never actually said this to you, you're a person near and dear to our family's heart, and it's always good to see you, and it's always good to see you on stage. And even though the first time I saw you, and what was it? The
Drop Dead
60. I went like, oh my God, this guy's literally insane. But it worked out pretty well.
Well, Dan, I appreciate that, man. That really means a lot to me, and not to. I mean,
we're not going to jerk each other off all night long, but go ahead.
Getting into this
just for the next hour. That's all.
Getting into this in public is maybe a little bit. I'm a little shy, but the time that I was able to spend with you guys, it was very valuable to me, and it was actually very sad that I had to give that up.
It was sad. Actually, Mike is maybe overstating how much he enjoyed it, because most of the time, and I am not joking, we kept him locked in a closet. We kept him locked in a closet. And
it's true, yeah. But
yeah.
The thing is like
flowers in the attic and shit. Yeah.
It was there's so much about that place that I look at that place, I look at SLG, Art Boutiki, and I just think like, man, this is what I would want to do as like a livelihood, like it
well, there's no livelihood, especially now. So, there's no money to be made.
Well, I mean, same with bands.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, we're all in the same boat, I guess.
There's like a deficit when you're in a band, right? When it comes to that,
yeah. I'm not going to get into this, especially if he's watching. But I it's interesting, and we should not talk about this, but it's interesting because between myself and my brother, it's been very different interactions, which was odd, which was a very odd thing, because separate interactions at separate times.
Yeah, but, I mean, in all honesty, you were, without getting into a great amount of detail, yes, they're very different kind of interactions, but I mean, upon reflection, in those instances where I had people, more than people than just your brother, that I interacted with in regards to certain things, I was trying to impose the way I did things on people, because as a comic book publisher, we were, for a long period of time, fairly successful. And, I became frustrated when I would see people not published by me, but just, doing things differently. And it's like, I would try to give them the benefit of what I had learned, but I would do it in the way I would do with someone that I was publishing, which would be blunt and to the point, and which, Mike, right? I mean, that's the way I am. And I've learned, because as I get older, I realized saying that's the way I am isn't really good enough anymore. You know what I mean? Especially in the way things are with people. Maybe I personally needed to choose my words a little better. I think people could have been more receptive to what I was saying, given what I had accomplished. But whatever. But whoever. I mean,
stuff happens. You know.
This stuff happens. We love you, Mike. I love you personally.
Well,
And,
Dan, I love you
yeah.
too, man.
Yeah.
And
Thank you.
you know, I've told the rest of the band this, and this is, I don't want to knock on San Jose. I really love San Jose,
Yeah.
but if it wasn't for playing at Art Boutiki, I don't know if I would have a reason. You know, like.
Well, the Mini Gourmet closed, right? So
The Mini Gourmet is cursed, and so they basically have had like all the horsemen of the apocalypse run through there. They've had a flood. They had a flood, fire. You can count pandemic as pestilence.
pestilence, right?
You know, whatever. And now I guess the rumor is about that they are just never. They were supposed to reopen in March. Like if you look in through the window, you can see they were in the midst of like finishing stuff or whatever, and then it's like, you know, of course it never happened, and then I think that they just called it quits, and I think whoever owned the property sold the property because it was never coming back.
Well, I'm over the Mini Gourmet.
No, you're not.
I mean, where am I going to
Mike.
get food poisoning at, man? Come on.
Boy, the
Mike.
food was, you know, there was a time when the food at Mini Gourmet was actually not bad. I used to go there for breakfast after coaching hockey with my kids, and you know, somewhere along the line, I got a friend of mine. He told me that they started putting Spite in all the food.
Hey,
Just
okay.
I never had a bad experience there. I remember Mike was telling me stories about it.
Would you? I would like to regale a couple of those stories real quickly, if you don't mind.
All right.
Because I would always, especially after shows like Drop Dead 60 shows, I would always drag everybody to the Mini Gourmet, and like most people were in on it, they just figured, oh, you know, let's go to this weird kind of rundown place. But you know, some people are just like, I'm going home. Bye. So, story number one, I had a friend look at you know, a waiter coming out with a plate of food, and like a piece of bacon dropped onto the ground. And then the waiter kind of looked around and then picked up the bacon, put it back on the plate, and then and delivered the plate
to you, Michael, right?
Yeah, yeah,
the
to me.
bacon. No.
You can't waste that bacon.
Another story is I had a friend, just, you know, they gave him a glass of water, and it had this like white stuff in it, like a white powder, and we just thought, oh, it's probably just salt, dude. Don't worry about it. So he he drank it, and then he texted me the next day saying that he pissed blood.
Whoa.
Damn,
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
not the punchline,
I don't
right?
really have any sympathy for him because, you know, you go in like unexpected white powder, you would never in a million years just go, it's probably nothing.
Right.
In the 80s, you would have.
Now,
No. In the 80s, that wouldn't have been unexpected.
Story
in the
number
80s,
3.
Somebody would pass you a mirror, and then you, right?
Well, that would have
And then
been
if it was
etiquette.
fiberglass, you kick the guy's ass right away.
Oh, man.
Story number 3, and this is the last one.
Not that it ever happened to me.
I had a roommate. And we went to Mini Gourmet 3 times together. So the first time he ordered the liver and onions, and he threw up later on. And because, you know, come on, liver and onions, okay. So then the next time he ordered like a BLT, and then he threw up from the BLT. And then the third time he ordered just a cup of fruit, and he ate the cup of fruit, and then he threw up later on, and then he just never went to Mini Gourmet again.
He threw up on a cup of fruit?
Yeah.
You know, I got a long history with liver and onions because my parents are Italian. I mean, they're immigrants, right? So, and when I was small, liver and onions was Monday night dinner.
Yeah.
Go figure.
Mm.
Were you a fan or not a fan?
Well, I ate it, but I was not a fan. But, you know, I mean, I was too young to protest. There's way before, you know, I mean, you get the back of your hand from an Italian parent. It's like,
right.
Eat what your father's eating. It's like, this is.
Same in a Mexican household. You get the back and the front of the hand. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And the chancla.
And the chancla. Right. It's true.
Hey, it's better. I'll just say it. It's better that way because, I mean, I grew up with the opposite, where it was kind of like, if I didn't like the way something looked, they just say, "Oh, don't worry about it. You don't have to eat it." So then there was all this food that I missed out on until much, much later on. You know, like I don't even think I put like lettuce in my sandwiches until I was in college.
Dude, I remember you hadn't eaten a Whopper until freaking like a year ago.
Well, yeah.
When you and me went to go have a Whopper.
I mean, I don't know if
Are
a
you kidding me?
Whopper is.
Hey,
Hey,
you
man,
know
that's
what?
kind of a
I don't
big
know.
deal.
I don't think that's
Since-
directly analogous to this story, but you know.
Real quickly,
Hey, man,
though,
I was
since
shocked.
We were talking
I
about
was shocked.
people and fans and stuff. So what I want to say first is, Mike, you know that we don't really endorse products here. I'm sure you can understand that that's just not something that we do. You know,
Yes.
I phone people all the time, and I'm happy I can phone people. You know, I know you can hear me. When I ask you, Patricia would like to know, why would you keep going back to them?
Oh, it was great. Are you kidding me? Like, okay, so here's the thing. The Mini Gourmet now, and listen, I don't want to tangent all night about Mini Gourmet, but the Mini Gourmet now, at least the last time I was there, it's cleaned up. You know, it's a much nicer place to eat. But what I loved about it is you know, when I was going there, whatever, 8 years ago, all the waitresses were pissed off all the time. You know,
Well,
the
you go in
bathrooms.
there. Well, Mike is missing the most salient feature of the Mini Gourmet, which is until the last couple of years of existence, it was open 24 hours a day.
Yes,
and it
Right,
was
it
also
was.
located directly across the street
Valley
from a
Medical.
giant hospital, right?
right.
And so people go in there. I mean, you know, your picture is like, oh, the doctors, nurses going to go in there, and it's like, you know, it's the occasional escape mental patient, and people like, oh, my father's dying of cancer in there, and I came in
Right.
here to, yeah, how much of that can you take? Of course, the waitresses are pissed off.
Right.
Okay, so I did
emotional
work.
training.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt there.
I did work across the street over there at Valley Medical Center for about 5 years. So, and it was night shift, and man, that was the place to go get some midnight food, 2, 3 in the morning.
Oh,
Over
yeah.
there. Oh man.
And here's the
I
thing.
never got sick though, but I did see people over there in patient gowns when I would go over for breakfast after the end of a night shift.
And you know what we would, and here's the thing. We would go there at like probably 2 a.m, and there would be barely anybody there, and they'd all be kind of like, you know, the offbeats, you know, and
Yeah.
you know, you'd see like a customer get in a fight with the chef, or like there would be a guy sitting at the bar that's just clapping at people for no reason. But what we would do is we would go there, and the running conversation would always be, is there such thing as a bread sandwich? And we would always bring it up. We would always bring it up at the Mini Gourmet, and we'd always be sitting at the table yelling at each other over the existence of a bread sandwich.
You know,
And
I saw a really clever cartoon that had that same conversation. I don't remember
Oh,
what
yeah?
it was called. I don't remember what it was called, but it was a very good cartoon.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I just got it. Anyways, so Dan, sorry,
Yes.
we're
No, that's
tangenting
fine.
off into all kinds
Well,
of things.
I'll give you another slight something that works. So basically, Mini Gourmet is where everyone would go. You had 2-3 choices after a show ends at Art Boutiki. One, if you're of age, you go to a real bar. If not, you go either to Denny's, of which there are many, or the Mini Gourmet. And you know, there's many, or the In-N-Out out by the airport.
Oh yeah.
But that's later years. But there were many a time that I would go in to the Mini Gourmet and just see, like, because someone had invited me to go there, and so I went there because it's like literally like 3 blocks from my house. So I would go in to say thanks for playing, and then be like half the show would be at Mini Gourmet. and then wait to be like, fuck this. They're all ordering, coffee and toast, and they're not going to tip. And what the hell's going on here? So, anyways, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I had a fantastic idea. So if the Mini Gourmet is actually closing, what if you made an offer, dirt cheap deal, maybe $5 each, and asked them to sell you a few of their booths, and you could put that at the back of the Art Boutiki. And then after your show,
dude.
You know what? I wouldn't
and
mind.
then
That's not a bad idea. I wouldn't put it in the back though, because we just substantially upgraded from the plastic tables that were in the back.
You guys got
So
a
what
beer
I'm-
garden, secret beer garden, right?
But what I'm thinking is like
Which-
you could then serve
Which
eggs.
may actually, it's funny because who knows if it's actually going to be. Apparently, there's new guidance coming from the county any day, and God knows what it's going to say.
Well, I mean, you guys are good for it. You're not in the, seventh ring of the inferno like we are down here.
Oh.
Things are better up there, I think, right? I mean, is it kind of on the downswing or no?
I don't know. Really, honestly, it feels like we just have been just sort of kind of level. Like things have never gotten better, but they've never gotten worse. And it's like, I guess the overall trend that they want to see is downward.
Yeah.
And I sometimes wonder, I mean, I don't want to get on a whole COVID thing here, but Santa Clara County and Silicon Valley being what it is, people work here and then go elsewhere, and it's like, did people get their infections here and then move on and take them elsewhere? Did people who were living here and working elsewhere bring them back here? I mean, I guess that's
a good
the whole
point.
The whole point of sheltering in place, of staying home was to like quash this thing. But of course, like 85% of the people who work and live and whatever are quote essential, and it's like I was going to work, I mean, not that we were making any money, but I was still going in. We were doing takeout. People were going, Ruben, you were still working.
Yeah. I've been working since May, right?
Yeah, and it's just like it's funny because it's like you're considered essential, but you're also kind of expendable.
Well, I was
So
going to
it's
say, I
really-
wouldn't say essential. I'd say expendable is the word, but you beat
Well,
me
I think
to it.
what I was going to say is that essentially you're expendable,
Yeah,
right?
there you
That's
go.
the whole thing, and it's
Spoken like a true poet and publisher.
everybody wants us to go back to work to support the upper class because in this case, shit rolls downhill, but everything that we do goes back uphill.
Yeah.
So it was like the 1% suddenly realized, oh, this is what we get for not having a strong middle class.
Right.
It's like now everybody's got to be on unemployment because nobody has any savings.
Right.
So, anyways, I don't want to get into it, But
Well-
you had another question about the Mini Gourmet? No.
Nah.
I was gonna say, it's like tonight. Our guest is Dan Vado and the ghost of the Mini Gourmet.
So you know what? You're talking about a bread sandwich. When I in the 70s, I worked at Great America. And there was when it opened, my parking pass was so low, it was in 2 digits. So it's like I was number 82 or something. That's how early on I was hired. And there was it's not there anymore. There's a Denny's like just up, not Santa Moss, but whatever other road there, just off Santa Moss, I think. And the employees would all go there. And there's one guy that worked there that just never thought it was not going to be funny for him to go in there and order a cheese omelet, hold the eggs.
Just cheese.
Cheese omelet, hold the eggs. So waitress is like, very funny. What do you want? And when we went in there this one time, you talk about a fed up waitress, and this waitress would just saw us walking in and pointed at me because she couldn't tell us apart, right? Whatever, a bunch of punks. Pointed at me and says, if you order a goddamn cheese omelet, hold the eggs, I will fucking slap you.
Oh, gee.
I'm like, I'll have a French dip.
God bless
I
the
bet she-
70s.
I bet she has some satisfaction in hearing that, right?
Ordering the French dip? Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Like, she told me off. I wasn't the right guy. I'm sure my buddy probably showed up there later and ordered cheese
Cheese
omelet.
omelet. Okay.
Yeah, you know, and it was like, God damn it.
It's like it's a popular dish.
Yeah.
Dan, I'm curious. What did you do over at Great America? Because I was around when it opened.
My job title was area host. So you would see us with a broom and a dustpan. I was a sweeper. But when they hired us, they brought us in there, and I was like 16 when I applied for the job, right? And they bring you in there and they interview you, and it's like, oh, you're perfect for the operations department. It's like, oh, I'm going to go work rides because that's what I applied for. But I didn't know that you couldn't work a ride if you were under 18, right? So it's like, oh, there's still a place for you. We have a position. It's called area host. It's mostly customer service and some light janitorial. And I'm picturing a guy with a suit and tie and walking around. Yeah, the roller coaster's over there and what. And I first day of work, and they give me this uniform, and I walk out to my area, and they hand me a, broom and dustpan. Because I was hired early, but I didn't start till spring break because I was in high school, so I couldn't actually go into work. And,
was this in the era of the turn of the century, or was it after?
Turn of the century was one of the first ones that they had there. That was the big thing. Yeah. So that was that they led with that. The corkscrew roller coaster, that was a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
But at any rate, so I walk up to my area, which ironically enough was the county fair area where the turn of the century was, and they hand me a broom and dustpan. It's like, oh no, wait, I'm an area host.
Area host.
My lead just started laughing at me, just like, we're all area hosts, asshole. Go over there and scoop up the popcorn. I'm like, oh man, are you kidding me? Really?
You see that area? Go
Yeah.
host the
Yeah,
rubbish into the pan,
you got from the fucking Eagles flight to the other side of the games gallery, and it was like, you're goddamn kidding me. I almost quit, like on the spot. But what I discovered, because where they have all the back now, there's video games and stuff there, but they all like games of chance, throw a bottle in the what have you, right? So it's like my first day working there, that's where I was sweeping. And I went through the little games area. It's like, oh, there's a quarter. Ah, there's another quarter. Oh, look at that. That's $1. It's like, whoa, I swept through it and went like, holy shit, I made $5. Like, just going through here and keeping my head down and doing my job. I picked up $5. Keep in mind that the minimum wage at the time was $2.15 an hour.
Oh my God.
So that I made $5 for 3 seconds of walking through and picking up spare change. It's like, holy shit. I would never give this job up. Gas was 35 cents a gallon. It's like, I got gas for a month.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm rich, bitch.
Free.
I'm rich, bitch. Exactly, right? It's crazy.
Yep.
Oh, man. Great America back then was the best, dude. Back when they had the big hands.
Big hands?
Yeah, I can't remember the name of the actual ride, but it was like it had those buckets, looked like little cages, and and they were on those big white hands.
The Sky Whirl. We call
Sky Whirl. That's one.
We call that the Sky Hurl, because what fucking genius decided that putting a fucking giant like multi-level not roller coaster, but carousel or whatever, or not a carousel, but
carousel
wheel.
Merry-go-round or some shit.
Right next to a food court.
Oh,
Who
yeah.
does that? Right? And so people we had a code. It was a code 13. There's no cell phones or anything like that, right? So they give us a beeper, right? Little thing, and they could like, it would beep, and then it would be a little robotic voice with giving you a code. Code 13 was go to the Sky Whirl and clean up vomit. And one of the grossest, if you want to get gross, one of the grossest things I ever saw, it was a chain reaction puke where one person threw up so disgusting that 8 other people all over. It was like a scene out of, I don't know.
Problem
like,
Child. Problem Child,
Yeah.
man. That happened in Problem Child.
Yeah. Well,
Was it Problem Child?
They probably got
Two.
the idea
Two.
from, yeah. I didn't
Stand
see
By
that.
Me had something similar with
Yes.
a pie. And that's
Yes,
what you're
yes,
thinking.
Yes. Yeah.
But Problem Child 2 had a roller coaster thing where everybody barfed on everybody.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wasn't there
Yeah.
something like Sandlot or something that had that also?
Let's just say it did.
Maybe not. I don't know.
Let's just say it did.
I don't know. Hey, audience, if I'm crazy, let me know. If I'm remembering things completely wrong, let me know in the comments
Why don't we go
section.
to the audience with that? Yeah, let us know. Did that happen in Sandlot? Win yourself a
Well, they get the
can of
chewing.
soda.
They get the chewing tobacco. Then they go to the boardwalk, and then they go on like a carousel or something. And they all
Oh, dude, I think you're right.
vomit.
Like, okay,
Yeah.
like swallow it and shit. Yeah, I think so.
They probably all worked at Great America. The writers probably. It's just like you can't work around. You can't work in that environment, and you're expected to clean. It's like, again, I'm making $2.15 an hour. Oh, go clean up the vomit.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Go clean up the vomit.
I
Hire somebody experienced. They gave us these big buckets of essentially cat litter, but we called it pixie dust, and we just would throw it all over it, and then come back like 15 minutes later, and it would all turn into.
It's clean.
I liked it when
sweep it up with
I
a
would
push
go to
broom.
the Santa Clara County Fair, and like there was it was like a Ferris wheel, but it had something where you could spin around while you were going around.
Yeah.
And I remember this one stood out. So somebody definitely, like they had the Technicolor yawn, man. They just like fully they did a Boogie Nights inside that thing, man. It was bad. And so, the dude who's like, man in that little ride, I just remember the bell bottoms and the greasy stringy hair, and the dude's just kind of standing back with the garden hose, just like, just washing that thing out. It's just like all this water and barf coming out of that thing. I'm like, I so want to ride that. I want to ride that ride.
What ride was it?
Everybody wants to go on those things, and then the consequences are just whatever.
Was it the Gravitron, or what was that?
No, it was like this. Okay, so it was a big wheel, right? And it looked like they had these little carts. And in this cart, you had a wheel that you could turn, and it would spin you as you were going spinning. Well,
right.
it only did like this, but man, this thing would just fuck you up. Yeah, loved it.
I worked at.
I never got to barf though, but
I worked at a movie theater when Cloverfield came out, and at least once during every showing, especially in those first 2 weeks, at least there would be at least one person that would run out of the auditorium and into the bathroom to throw up, and yeah. So that, I guess that's my only
cam, right?
Because of the shaky cam, yeah. And I guess subsequently any movie made after that with the shaky cam, there'd be people vomiting. Some people would just vomit in the theater, and you'd have to mop it up. It was gross,
right.
But I guess that's my only experience with cleaning up barf.
I think that's the only upside to being cool rock stars is we don't have to worry about other people's barf, just our own,
just each other,
just our own. Yeah, that's it.
Just don't fall asleep and barf.
It's terrible, man.
So Dan, okay, obviously we have you on here, and
sure.
we want to talk to you about,
okay,
about some music stuff, man, because I can't emphasize this enough. Art Boutiki is the coolest fucking venue that I love playing always.
Yeah.
And one of our audience members was at that last show that we played in March, and his name's Mondo. Mondo, you probably listening right now.
Mondo is.
But dude, he was just blown away by the whole experience, man. And that last night that was our last show that we played before everything shut down, and it was just it was a magical night for us. So thanks again for having us.
Always happy to have you guys there. That last month or half month was frustrating because I had felt like we had scheduled a really strong spring, March, April, and May.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I saw just as stuff like in February, the virus kind of creeped into people's heads. And then I started noticing like, more people should have turned out tonight. And then, we had just that last week, it was weird where people, we had a, ironically enough, the last show, which I hope ends up not being the last show at Art Boutiki, was Friday the 13th.
Oh.
And yeah, right? That would make sense. But so there's a woman, Kate Dunton, from LA, and she was actually one of the, I don't know if she was a founding member, but she was one of the, I think she was the first keyboard player in Snarky Puppy.
Oh,
And so now she's doing her own thing under her own name. Amazing keyboard player. She was coming up. Our place was going to be her first stop on her tour. And she calls us like, should I leave LA? I'm like, look, my plan right now is to be open. So I'm saying, go ahead and we will play, but I can tell you from what happened the night before that attendance was not great, and I'm gonna just leave it up to you. So she came, and Wally Schnally had his trio, Idiot Fish. Again, these are people that normally pack the Art Boutiki, and there were like 30 people there, and we had 25 people who bought tickets that didn't show up. But it was man, I mean, I tell you, it was a great show. So if that was the last one, at least it was good.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and you know, I mean, obviously, I really hope that wasn't the last show. I think we played the weekend before, right? The 7th.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And you know, flashback to March. I mean, I had been hearing more and more about the coronavirus, but I just, you know, it was right before it became this huge, serious thing. And, you know, I remember taking the mega bus up, taking it up and back, and it was just completely empty. And I thought, you know, when I got onto the mega bus to go up to the Bay Area, I just thought, man, this is fucking weird. Like, this is actually kind of a serious thing.
Yeah, I remember you were dreadfully sick too. I mean, not to whatever, right? But I remember you were under the weather, Mike. You know.
Well, when I got back down to LA, I was under the weather. I did not have coronavirus.
No, I'm not saying you did. I'm saying you were under the weather, though. I remember.
And I also did, for everybody out there, I did stay home and made sure I isolated anyways. So, you know, everything's good. But yeah, it was that whole week for me was odd. And the week after we played the show, I mean, I think it was like on a Wednesday or something. You know, we got word from our parent company, like, hey, you guys need to vacate your office space, like, by the end of the week. You know, you got to figure out how you're going to fucking work and do this shit from home. And you got to do it in like 2 days. And I was like, hey, you know, I'm sick, but like, I think I'm okay. Do you need me to come in and help with this? And they're like, no, stay home, you know? And so, my whole team, it was just like a mad dash. And I just basically sat back at home and, didn't have to worry about it. But, yeah, super odd, really weird time.
And it continues to be a weird time because it feels now that we have, coming from the perspective, and I realize that anybody who's working in music, or, you know, is pretty much in the same place. But I feel like we're in limbo.
Yeah.
Like we don't know what is coming next. Nobody can tell us. Nobody can even give us an idea. You know, you used to have, even the governor would say, well, I think phase 3 is not months away, it's not weeks away, it's, you know, it's whatever, and we're almost right there. And then suddenly everybody shut up because nobody knows what's going on.
Right.
And but then you look at it and it's like, I mean, I have a friend, actually someone who's played at the Art Boutiki now lives in Nashville, and they've many an occasion posted all kinds of images of downtown Nashville, and the bars are crowded. They've got live music again, and you know, this and that. Is like, well, I mean, are people in Tennessee going to start dying in droves, or are they not? It's like, I don't really know at this juncture what to believe. You know, I think obviously caution is probably the smartest thing, and I get it, but the world cannot expect. You know, you can't, and I'm speaking for myself, but, you know, this goes to any place that's a music venue or concert venue or whatever. It's not like everything else turned off. You know, people still want money from us. My landlord wants to get paid, and
Right.
so does everybody else's landlord, right?
Right.
Utility company still wants to get paid, and we are making no money, none whatsoever. And everybody talks about, oh, did you get a payroll loan? It's like, what good does that do me? Seriously, it's like, okay, yeah, I got a payroll loan. I gave it to my employees. If you just, what I really needed was something to replace the revenue that I wasn't making. Then I could have paid my employees on my own. I don't need you to give me money and say you have to give it to somebody else, because that only succeeded in getting people off of unemployment, which is all anybody really seemed to want. You know, it's just like, oh, it doesn't really matter what you're going to do, because the buy low, sell high people are looking at this as going to be like an opportunity. It's like there's all going to be all kinds of properties and all kinds of businesses that are going away and never going to come back, and somebody's going to come in and swoop it all up in a year now at like pennies on the dollar, and
change the landscape, right? And change it completely.
It's going to change the landscape entirely. And it's like,
right.
I don't know how. I haven't really talked to anybody else who owns a venue in San Jose or even around here. I don't know how they're getting along, you know, but yeah, it's bad. It's tough. You know, you want to do, especially like, we were never making a ton of money to begin with, right?
Right.
But any reserve.
But it was sustaining itself, right? Basically, you know what I mean?
It's self-sustaining. Payroll got paid, rent got paid, you know, but you know, I'm working for probably less than my time is worth, and there are a lot of people, we're still skating by with people working as volunteers, and that just doesn't, you know, I mean, it's because of the type of space that it is, and the type of place that it is. It's not a bar. It's not, you know, it's not Liquor First. It's, you know, you guys are the product, right? We put on stage, and if people don't come out to see you guys, and there's no mythical built-in audience. I mean, there are people who come out to see, like, oh, what do you got going on? But I mean, a lot of times you'll see someone like call up. I'll get the calls like, what do you got going on tonight? I got jazz. Click. Okay. So, you know, because that's the way we program, is all across the board. Because San Jose doesn't really have the audience for a dedicated venue of any sort. You know, it's like you really don't have an audience for just a rock venue or just a jazz venue or just a bluegrass venue. It's like, it's
you
not
need variety, right?
Yeah, and we supply that variety, but that works against us. But that means that what I put on that stage is the product. That's what we're selling.
Right.
That's what Art Boutiki is all about. You know, the other stuff is there to service the customer, to give them another reason to come in, because it's like, Mike can tell you, and I don't know if Ruben or whatever been like to you go back to the old place where we didn't sell anything. You know, it's like we just sold sodas and bottles of water, you know, and stuff like that. And it's like there was no money whatsoever, and people would leave and go drink elsewhere and go eat somewhere else, and then come back and see whatever band, or they would pop in just for whatever band they were going to come and see, and that's not a sustainable business model. You know, where you're saying like, oh yeah, you go spend all your money somewhere else. Give me your $5.
Yeah, go get shit faced, come back and throw up in my bathroom. You know.
Yeah, and that's I've had to deal with that many a times. So people like, it was more of a problem when we were downtown than it is now. But yeah, we have really strict policy about, if you're drunk or you're high, and I can see it, and I'm probably the least observant person in the Art Boutiki. If I can see it, then you're trouble, and we're going to ask you to leave. No, we're not going to tell you, you know? So.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I have a question that's going to be a little bit of a segue here, Dan. You know, I've been a fan of the Art Boutiki a long time, and I've always actually wondered, what made you want to do a music venue with a comic shop? Like, what came first? I mean, you were publishing first, right?
Right. Unfortunately, like everything I ever did in my life, everything was an accident. So, but we were publishing first, and that warehouse that was the old Art Boutiki, just was this big space where we did business. I had like 9 employees at one time. When the recession hit in 2008,
Yeah.
It was too much space because we used to manufacture toys and used to do a lot of other stuff, and I had to ditch the unprofitable parts of the business, and the toys was definitely one part that wasn't really holding up its end. So I needed to, I ditched all that, and I had a bunch of extra space, and I was going to move somewhere that was cheaper. I had like several months left on the lease. So I went to my landlord and I said, hey, look, I got to move. I can't afford to be here anymore. Economy's in the dumper, whatever. It's like, I can't afford to be here. I'm paying like a retail rate for a warehouse, and it doesn't make any sense. So he cut my rent by more than half.
Oh, wow.
Because they had always planned on at some point bulldozing it and building something else. And if I left, they were never going to get another tenant. You know, it was just like, oh yeah, we might throw you out in 3 years or 2 years or whatever it was and ended up being. So I ended up with all this extra space. What do I do with it? So we did up the front so that we could be part of the art walk, and then I made the back kind of a big like hangout space so that and people could look at the art, come and sit down and listen to my sons are musicians, and we would hire a band to come in. And we were like, during the South First Fridays, we were the first venue that actually had live music as part of the thing. It was our thing, you know?
Yeah, I remember that.
Pretty soon people were coming up to me and saying like, well, when other nights are there music here? And I'm like, that's a good question. And it coincided with a bunch of all ages places going under because they were run poorly and whatever. And, you know, my sons were in high school, and I'm hearing this stuff. It's like, well, we could use this space other nights of the week to have, like on the weekend, we can have shows here. And so we literally just moved boxes aside and created that. So it happened accidentally. And then once we started doing it, people were like, calling me from like out of town. So I'm on tour, and we want to come there. We had a band come from where was it, Scotland, like Twin Atlantic or whatever.
Yeah, I was there for that. I remember.
Were you
that
there
show.
for that show?
Yeah,
They walked in and they were like, "What in the absolute fuck is this place?" Right? You know, it's like this is like, I guess we were getting a kind of a reputation, and people touring agents were calling and whatever. It's like, so we became a real venue. It's like, oh shit. Then they kicked us out because, of course, the day came when they sold the building. They decided to develop the building, and then I found the place where we're in now, and I realized like this is perfect because I hadn't intended to keep doing live music. It's like, but if I was going to, this would be the place.
Mm-hmm.
And so I go, let's see what happens when we try to do it on purpose, and was 7 years ago, coming on 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, for me, it's one of the best sounding venues here. I mean, I don't know, whoever I piss off, I don't care, man. It's one of the best sounding venues that I played at here. You know?
Yeah. Well,
yeah, I'm straight up.
You might piss people off, but they also wouldn't argue with you.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, because you know what? We spent a ton of money making that place sound good. Like the old place had good acoustics, and I realized why it had good acoustics. We were fortunate that the ceiling was already insulated there. So when we came into the place, we insulated the walls, inside the walls, and in the roof, on the ceiling, all the way through the building, not just where the music was. Right. Because, you know, I didn't want to create a weird bounce. I didn't want a hard surface creating problems elsewhere in the building, right? And then we've slowly upgraded everything over time. We came in with our gear, and then was a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, that we made a major upgrade, which when we brought in these, it was funny because we had this subwoofer that kept blowing, and it was just like this, I can't remember what brand it was now, but it was like, yeah, you get these for $300 on eBay, so let's just get another one. And my son Dustin's like, fuck it, no, absolutely not. I'm done with this. And he went out and bought those damn subwoofers himself and put them down. And then like, okay, and he's installing them in the place, and I'm in the back giving somebody some t-shirt printing instructions, and all of a sudden the building begins to shake. And I go, right, he's like, what the hell are you doing? He goes like, I'm trying to blow him. I go, don't do that. And he's like, no, look. And he's like, he's cranking as much low end as he can through those subs. He goes like, these cannot be blown.
Awesome.
He's like, we'll never put this much bass through these things. There's no reason to, but I just tried to blow them because if they could be blown, if I blew that, I was going to take it right back. I'm like, okay, all right, I get that. Yeah. So yeah, we take a lot of pride in the quality of the sound. When people
even the aesthetic, it's awesome. You know what I mean? From the stage to the record selection that got put up there. I see a Drop Dead 60 record somewhere in the middle, next to Michael Jackson, next to Hall & Oates,
from our vinyl run that we did.
No, I think I just printed that on my inkjet. And put it up there. But I mean, there's a row up there of local folks. Like Dogcatcher has their album up there. Mm-hmm. When we moved from the other place, I wanted to have because the record wall, is sort of a transplant from the other place. Where we had a bigger wall area, and B, when we were putting it up, it's like, I want to like thank people who were sort of instrumental in helping us get to that kind of next level,
right?
And it's like you could take a guy like Nick Bartunik and Picture Atlantic. He came in. He was actually one of the first people to play at Art Boutiki. He played solo, and he became so enamored with the spot that he kept wanting to come back. And then he started organizing his own shows, the Rock Hop. And he was like, and he was one of the people. He was like, if you're coming through, or he would call his friends in San Francisco and say, "Come and play at the Art Boutiki," And so he was a huge part of that, and many people were like that, You talk about Drop Dead 60. I mean, it's like that was, it was cool. You brought the San Jose State people out, and
we did.
It was very nice. Because the San Jose State, you guys created a kind of a lane of traffic for both musicians and
artists, I guess, right?
Yeah, artists and fans, whatever you want to call them, but customers.
I was always inviting animation folks to the shows, and I I remember the first few times that I did it, it kind of pissed me off because. Like I'd be looking out there, right, and like all the animation students would be in the back doing like gesture drawings of us, and I'd be like, "Come on, don't fucking do that right now."
Well, it's funny because we already had that in a way prior to, in the heyday of SLG Publishing in that location. I had a long sort of running list of interns that came from the animation department and worked for a year. And I think that there were 2 or 3 straight years where there were girls that came in and they not only just like invited someone to take their job, but there was an apartment like right behind the building there at the Art Boutique, really dumpy little 1-bedroom place. Mm-hmm. But they basically would pass on their job at SLG and the apartment to somebody else. It's like, and then
they were recasting that person basically.
Yeah. And so when we moved, and then Mike came in and became the intern. It's like, oh, you're currently the one in the extending that line, that lineage that goes from San Jose State. I think actually when you Mike, and you might have to correct me if my memory is incorrect, but when you told your advisor that you were going to intern at SLG, you already knew who we were, right?
He did, yeah. I don't know how familiar he was, but I know that he knew you, yeah.
Right, because I'd had people intern from the program before, so.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But I don't think he'd ever been into the place. But yeah, that was neat.
Yeah.
Hey, Dan, real quick. So I'm going to be optimistic here, and I'm going to say when Art Boutiki does reopen, Would you like to have us there and play for you guys?
Well, for sure. I mean, actually, I at some point. So right now we're working on our recording and streaming abilities. We had something of we had a semi-successful test a week ago, a little more than a week ago, I think, with Ren Giesick and her group, where we didn't publicize it, but we did this whole thing. We created a show and this whole kind of thing, and then we basically wanted to stress test the whole system. And it's like, okay, let's just send everything through this thing that we can and see if it will work. It's like we're gonna stream to multiple places, and we're gonna record, and we're going to whatever that we're using 4 HD cameras and a hardware switcher and bringing all this stuff in from the board, and it worked perfectly for about 5 minutes, and then things started to just go south a little, and in trying to course correct, we made it worse. So we're going to try that again. I didn't want to roll it out, and start getting people really excited about it. But definitely when we have that together, you guys should come up and do a show. We're going to be doing, these streams are going to be a ticketed stream. Cool. So people have to pay an admission. You can sell merch from the stream. And it's not going to be like, I mean, it'll be just like a show in that you're either going to be there or you're going to miss it. Right. It's not going to show up on YouTube. It may show up on YouTube because we're going to record it. The plan is definitely now that we're, rather than trying to live stream, we're going to record and stream the recording because that allows for the best quality.
Right. Edit and stream everything. Right.
Yeah, and then we can actually put other things into it. We could bring you into the back in the beer garden and do a quick interview and insert little bits into the thing, because one of the things that we noticed to an empty building is that people's banter isn't there. It's like there's no crowd to feed off. And you're just kind of going through your thing. But in a one-on-one conversation, that might be a little different. So that will substitute for it. Although I'm looking at the man who could probably carry it off right now. I'm sure Mike. I
already have some ideas.
Mike doesn't.
As you're saying this, I have some ideas.
Yeah, I'm sure we should actually talk very closely, and I'm sure that whatever we do with you guys would be absolutely amazing. There goes around.
No,
I heard that Penguin still has a restraining order, though, right?
Yeah, you'll have to get that Penguin out of there.
Yeah, whatever. Penguin's not going anywhere. But anyway, so yeah, we have to have you guys back there. I mean,
we'd love to be on there.
Yeah. One of the things that we're going forward, or not moving forward in the hopes that we can go forward, is that the recording and streaming aspect is going to be really important, and we're going to actually kind of work from an assumption, and I think this is a fair assumption, that even when they do allow us to open, that it's going to be at a restricted capacity, and it's like, okay, if it's 25% or whatever it might be, it's just like, well, that's like 30 people. Who can make money with that, Right. So the idea is that when we get back to actually having live shows, that they will be recorded and streamed, and there will be a ticket on that as well. And that, through our own shirt printing, which actually got a huge monkey wrench yesterday thrown into it when the shirt printer just stopped and isn't working. And so I made a decision to do something that we should have done a long time ago, which is to upgrade the equipment. And so now we're waiting for new gear to come in, but we can do that for people. And I don't know. We'll see.
You do that for us, so that's awesome.
Yes, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like we're doing whatever we can, but it feels the entirety of the world is going to take a long time to come back from this. It's just like,
yeah.
Couple
years.
Yeah, because I mean, you look at like what was it I just read, and my heart bleeds for Live Nation, but apparently they had literally a 100% drop in revenue
Oh
in
yeah.
the last quarter. 100%. That means they made no money.
Right.
And it's like, if that keeps up for them, and I'm going to assume that it will, they may not be a company in 6 months,
Yeah.
you know, or they're going to just furlough everybody, and then that will be that. So, I mean, it's hard to like have any kind of meaningful conversation without dwelling on this negative shit, you know?
Well, I mean, it's just it's unavoidable. I mean,
It's
you know,
permeated everything, right? Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And it is really it's a struggle, and the things like what you guys are doing and what we're doing, and the people who are going to bail are the people who were really never in it to begin with. Eventually you're going to come to a point where even the hardest core person with the purest of convictions is going to say it's not worth the struggle.
Right.
And it's like, let's face it. I mean, if I had to close tomorrow, or something like that, I'm 60 years old. I'm not going to come back when I'm close to retirement age and say, let's do this again, because it was so much fun losing my ass last time. So, but I'm hoping that there's a couple of things that are out there that are floating around to try and help music venue. There's that Save Our Stages thing.
Right.
Which they're trying to get money for people, but there's so many venues, and the money they're talking about translates to really not enough. And people, I begin, like, we have our own Patreon thing where people donate monthly. People can donate on their own. We've been selling Art Boutiki t-shirts. This is all just goes to trying to keep our doors open. And what I have seen as this has dragged on is just donation burnout, where it's just like, a lot of people who were donating money were same people who were getting that enhanced unemployment, and now they're not going to get it, and they're not going to be able to go back to work. And so it's like, where's that money going to come from? The rich folk? No, they're waiting for me to go under so they can buy it all up. So.
Hey,
Well,
Dan, real quick though, if people wanted to donate, where could they do that? Where would you send them?
So if you go to the Art Boutiki webpage at artboutiki.com, you'll see a thing right at the top. This is support Art Boutiki through COVID. You click that, and there's a link to the Patreon page. There's a link to a straight up just a donation page, and then you could just go buy a T-shirt if you like. A lot of people's like, well, I'd like to get something for my money. And
one band has 2 T-shirts you can buy on there.
Well, I need a Frontier Village shirt actually, because I was
Yeah.
looking through the San Jose history little page on Facebook, and oh man, Frontier Village.
That was a cool place, man.
Oh man,
talk about things that you couldn't do today. Like for anybody that doesn't know what Frontier Village was all about, it was like a Western theme park.
Oh yeah,
but it was small. It was a little dinky place. I mean, dinky
family owned.
Great America. It was family owned, and they had this like stuff that just you couldn't do today. For instance, like you'd ride the stagecoach ride, and then it would get held up with people, guns ablazing, and then twice a day at noon and 2:00 in the town square, the sheriff would square off with the guy who robbed the stage and shoot him dead. Then they would haul his body off
in a wheelbarrow.
In a wheelbarrow.
Yeah,
and it's like, yeah, I mean, that was fun and all, but that maybe wasn't cool. I don't know. So
back then it was cool.
It was cool
Nowadays,
back then, yeah.
In a different
like,
context, no, you could write a book on how many reasons that place should be shut down.
But if the sheriff was RoboCop,
one of the things that was really dangerous was it was one of the places where the shooting gallery had actual BB guns.
Yes.
You know, and it's like even at the boardwalk, they were getting away from that a little bit. But it was like, you know, you would go up there and shoot these pellets, and you could turn that rifle around and shoot your date in the eye.
Yeah, but why would you?
He didn't like her. I don't know.
How many dates did you take to Frontier Village, dude?
No, I was too young. Actually, no, it was still open until 1980. So yeah, I could have, but I was working at Great America and I got in there free.
Oh, well,
So
that makes sense.
well, that with your $5 you picked up out there on
dude, I
Hometown
made
Square.
so much money. You have no idea. You have no idea. Some days I'd walk away with like $30, you know, and it's like, I'll go, yeah, it's like noisy and hot, you know, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
shit, I'll do it. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
I got this.
It's like, oh, everybody's dropping money all over the place. It's like nobody's paying attention to their cash, you know? And it's like, I mean, if I found a wallet, I'd give it back to somebody, right? But it's just like $5 on the ground, you know, $1 on the ground, a quarter. It's like, well, this is mine now. If I didn't take it, somebody else was going to. And it's
That's
like,
right.
yeah, man. It's like I was living high on the hog.
You're like, hey,
actually
man, I'm cleaning up throw up. Okay, this is mine, you know?
This is hazard
You
pay.
know what? Yeah, because
Hazard
$2.15 was not enough to clean up puke. That's for sure. And it even gets worse. I didn't have to do it very often because they would want women to do it, but there's nothing grosser on this planet than a women's public restroom. Nothing. I'm sure the streets of Calcutta are cleaner.
And on that note,
On a high note.
I apologize. I always have to be this dude, the time police. But every episode it happens. Dan, I apologize, but we are at time for our show. Don't hate me.
I've been kicked out of better places than this. I probably really haven't.
How does that song go? The time police, they come to me in my bed or something like that?
That's the dream police, bro.
The dream police.
No. It's the time police. You, Mr. Kerosene.
Hey, Mike, real quick, let's ask Dan. So, because there's we got Michael Ricci from Eris. He was actually asking how could we get Dan hooked up with Eris because they'd like to get some merch going.
Email me, best way.
Okay.
Kahuna@artboutiki.com. Or just danvado@gmail. That works too. If Kahuna is too hard to spell, and Art Boutiki is an obscure word. But yeah, just email me. That's the best way to go. And then, or you go to the Art Boutiki website and then just use the contact page, and that'll.
Okay. Hopefully, Michael, you heard that.
Oh yeah. Hey, and if you guys can't find it, just contact me. It's cool.
Yeah, hit us up.
We'll set you up.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh.
Cool. Well, thank you for being on with us tonight.
Hey, it's my pleasure. I want to say
from the mini gourmet to Pioneer Village, man. Cool.
Right on, bro. Hey, I want to just say one more time, Mikey. Mike, you still there?
I am. I'm here.
Oh, okay, Mike. You are just an awesome guy, and I love you to fucking death. And you will forever be. Not that I don't love the rest of your band. I love the rest of your band the way I love bands that I love. But you, as an individual, you are an outstanding person, and I want you to know that we still value your friendship. And you know what? Even that crazy shit you do on stage is just like, man, nobody's doing that. So, God bless you for being able to do that.
Dan,
and thank you for remembering us.
Dan, honestly, you don't know how much that means to me, man. That means a lot to me. And seriously, man, for you and your family and for everybody at Art Boutiki. P.S. What happened to J-Bam? But anyways,
you know what? I should have texted him. I didn't think about that.
But seriously, you guys are like family. And I think, you know, I've said this plenty of times, but one of the hardest things about moving to LA was, you know, having to say bye to a bunch of people. And I mean, that's you included. And I got something for you, man.
What's that?
I was going to completely surprise you. I'm still not going to tell you what it is, but I have something for you. So, you know, in the next month or two, keep your eyes peeled.
Okay. All right, I will keep my eyes peeled, and we will have you guys back, but you have to make me one promise. You know what this is, Mike. You know what I want.
Penguin?
Penguin.
No, the robot.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, Good Times Robot.
Yeah.
Good Time Robot needs to come back.
We will construct a new robot.
America needs that Good Time Robot.
I agree.
Yeah.
I totally
He will
agree.
be from a retro future, right?
Yep.
And here's the thing: talk about like a mask, right? Talk about like a mask to not catch COVID, dude. That robot suit, that dude's covered. But
Right.
no, we trust me. The guy that's been our robot he'll still do it, and we'll get him back in.
Right on, man.
Rick and Zeke probably don't know what we're talking about, but I'll fill you guys in.
I heard the story
I've
actually.
seen the robot actually.
And
All right, man. Well, thank you very much for having me. Yeah, thank you. Thank
Let's
you
talk
guys.
soon.
Good luck to everybody. We'll see you guys
Yeah,
soon.
thanks, Dan.
All right. See
All
you
right.
soon, Dan. Thank you.
Bye.
All right. Bye.